We're going to begin today by reviewing the major concepts, and I hope by this point you are getting a little bit nauseous as we review this, but it's certainly well worthwhile reviewing, and it's the concepts under what I call the topic of the anatomy of an argument. And by now you should be yelling 3 terms at me because you don't want to hear this again. Nonetheless, let's stay in our seats and just get through this. The first concept that we're going to be talking about is that of, an argument. An argument is a set of statements, right? It's not a dispute between people. In our class, it is a set of statements that are intended to provide reasons or evidence to justify or logically lead to the belief in another statement. Now that other statement is defined in D2, the conclusion of an argument, which is the statement that the argument's intended to establish. And finally, D3, the premises, those are the reasons. The premises of an argument are the statements that are intended to support the conclusion. That is, they are the reasons. And remember, the goal of this course, we're gaining a skill, and what we're trying to learn, the skill is argue or refine, because you already have clearly some talent and some skill in this area because you've made some good comments in class. But we're learning to refine our skills in argument analysis. The first part of argument analysis is being able to understand, interpret an argument presented in a passage, and that involves trying to understand what the author means, identifying his premises and conclusion. Should be the conclusion first, because it's hard to figure out what the premises are if you don't know what the conclusion is. And sometimes you're going to find that he has unstated assumptions or premises. That is, he needs some premises, or he assumes that everybody agrees to certain premises. And an important thing that we're going to have to do is distinguish between premises, the reasons, the conclusions, and distinguish between those. And sometimes an argument is mixed in with a whole narrative that really is not directly relevant to the assumptions that are made or the conclusion that's made, but kind of are supporting. It's a supporting story. And this is the first step in argument analysis that we call reconstructing the argument. Now, once we have a reconstruction of the argument, the next thing we're going to be doing is evaluating the argument. And it just tells you about something about how we should proceed. The idea is we want to figure out what the argument is first before we decide if it's a good argument or if it's a bad argument. So in summary, let me just remind you the 2 steps of argument analysis. You should be dreaming about this. You should be, every time you're nauseous, this should come out. Reconstructing the argument and evaluating the argument.